Welcome back to the Speak Your Piece podcast. My name is Ian McNaughton, Big E. Good to see you. We got a good show coming up. It is Wednesday. It's the day before Halloween. It's Wednesday, October 30th. I'm going to start by saying I'm not a big Halloween guy. I think Halloween's kind of overrated. I'm not a big costume guy. I'm not a big dress up, go to a party type thing. I think it's kind of obvious, but like, it's kind of been into my head. I've seen people who are going to parties, seen people who are dressed up, and I'm like, nah. That's not for me. It's kind of Larry David-esque almost. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm not about that. Not about that action. About some action, but not that action. I'm kind of curious though. Just like people who do like the Halloween costume stuff. Like, do they? I guess they enjoy it. I don't know. There's something about like. I think Halloween's kind of an overrated. It's not a holiday, but like an overrated day. Like. I don't know how to describe it. I think Christmas is way cooler than Halloween. But I can see how you would love Halloween and how people would enjoy Halloween. You know, partying and dressing up in costumes and candy and whatnot. I think it's more of a kid's holiday, but like as you get older, you still try and find reasons to drink and socialize. So I guess that's why people like Halloween. I don't know. I feel like you don't need an occasion necessarily. I don't feel like you need the reason to. I feel like you can just go have a beer anyways. You don't need, oh, it's Halloween, let's go have a big party. I feel like you could just do that anyways of like, hey, it's Friday night, let's go have a party. Let's go hang out. I don't know what that rant was about. I just felt like it was, on my mind, and I needed to get it off my chest, and that's what the podcast is for. Good show coming up here. We're going to be discussing a little bit about the Montreal Canadiens, who have been interesting. World Series Game 5, I believe, is tonight. Recording this before Game 5, the Yankees won Game 4, make it a 3-1 series. So, the big story, though, I want to discuss and chat about is Red Bull Racing. So if you didn't know, I'm an F1 guy. I'm not as in tune with it maybe as I was a few years ago. But I've been watching most of the races this year, trying to stay in touch, trying to keep up to date with it. And this past race in Mexico City, the Mexico City Grand Prix, really fun race, really exciting. Ferrari obviously went out way ahead and nobody could catch them. But my biggest takeaway from this past weekend was Red Bull Racing and how much of a fall from grace they have had. Now, I'm going to say it's going to be controversial. Maybe this isn't a hot take. Maybe I'm behind the masses on this. But this is the beginning of the end for Red Bull Racing, as we know it. And you could argue that it really happened in Miami this year when Lando Norris won by like 20 seconds. It was not even close. Like, Lando just blew by everybody. They had upgrades, McLaren did in Miami, and Lando was terrific. Lando was incredible. But Red Bull this year, they are now second in the Constructors' Championship. Max is still first in the Drivers' Championship. I think he's still got a pretty solid lead. I think it's a little less than 50 points over Lando with 4 races to go. But my big takeaway with Red Bull Racing is this is the beginning of the end. Any sort of future success that we think they're going to have, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Red Bull Racing has had their run. They've had their success. They have had their stardom, and it's fallen off, and it will after this season. And the reason I say that is because, A, they have had so many different, let's say, controversies and departures coming up after this year that it's just hard to maintain. Now, for example, the story I keep going back to is in the off season where Christian Horner, who is the I don't know what his official role is, but like he's the head guy at Red Bull. He is the team principal. That's his official title. He's head honcho at Red Bull Racing. And he was accused of having inappropriate and controlling behavior with a female employee. Now, those accusations were denied. Basically, Red Bull and F1 did an investigation. They cleared him of anything. But it didn't sound all that, I don't know if convincing. It doesn't sound all that reassuring from the rest of the people in Red Bull. For example, we'll go with Jos Verstappen, Max Verstappen's dad, who said it can't go on the way it is. It will explode. There is tension here while he remains in position. There's a lot of people who at the time were calling for Horner's resignation, and he fought it. He battled the system, and I guess he won, if you want to call it that. But there's still a lot of tension, and there's a lot of animosity in Red Bull Racing. And as a result, it's now leading to significant people leaving the organization. I got it written down here. Three most notable. Jonathan Wheatley, he's leaving after this season. He is the Red Bull sporting director. He's leaving after this year to go essentially be the team principal at Stake, which is now Stake Sauber, but they're going to be Audi F1 in 2026. So essentially he is leaving to go be a team principal for a new team in 2 years. Will Courtney, Courtenay, Courtney, he is the head of race strategy at Red Bull. He is leaving, will leave after the year he's leaving after the year to join McLaren as their new sporting director. Adrian Newey, he was Red Bull's chief technical officer, he basically is the guy who designs the cars. He is the guy who designs cars. He is the guy. Like, you need to design a winning F1 car, Adrian Newey is your guy. He is leaving Red Bull as the chief technical officer so he can go be the managing technical partner at Aston Martin, who they have not been all that great either. So you have a guy leaving to go be a team principal at Sauber, not very good, historically not a good team, but he gets to be a team principal for that team when, all the pomp and circumstance comes in 2026 when they're Audi. You have a guy leaving to be the head of race strategy to go be a director at McLaren, which being a director at McLaren must have its perks. That's not a bad deal. And your chief technical officer is going to be a managing technical partner, whatever that is, at Aston Martin. I'm sure those guys are getting, pay raises, they're getting added benefits, whatever. They're getting nice titles. But they're all leaving Red Bull. They are all leaving the team that has won the last 3 drivers championship and the last 2 constructors championships. So it's very curious to see how Red Bull is reacting to this internally as well as reacting to it on track, because on track they have not been very good this year. They haven't won a race since, I think it was Verstappen last one in June. I'm just going to double check to make sure. Sorry, really doing a great job. I should have had this before. Verstappen hasn't won. Where is it here? I don't think he's won since June. This past weekend in Mexico City, Verstappen was given a 20-second penalty, finished 6th. It cost him. And Sergio Perez has been terrible. So if we'll actually pull. I'm going to actually pull up the receipts here for Red Bull Racing 2024, because for a team that has, I shouldn't say it's Checo, because Checo has obviously not been as great these last I'm gonna say year, probably year. It's been underwhelming, I will say. Let's take a look. Let's pull this up. Because Max Verstappen has not won a race since the Spanish Grand Prix. He has not got a pole position since the Austrian Grand Prix. He has not got a fastest lap since the Japanese Grand Prix. These guys have been not very good, really, in the last however long you want to say. And it's costing them. So Verstappen has 4 podiums since Spain. Checo is 8th right now. He has not got a podium since China. He had not got a podium since China. Not good. It's very not good. Sergio Perez is 8th in the standings right now. He is behind George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris. And he should have, realistically, the best car. The second best car, let's say. The second best car on the track behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen should have the best car. Red Bull is now 3rd in the Constructors' Championship with 512 points. They are behind Ferrari and McLaren. They have not had a double podium finish since China, where Verstappen won and Checo got 3rd. I don't know that they're going to keep Checo. It feels like he is running out of opportunities, running out of chances. I feel like it's been said for a while now. I don't know if they're probably just going to get rid of him at the end of the year. I don't know who's going to replace him. I don't know. I just don't know what the future holds. I don't know if they will find anyone better. I don't know that Yuki Tsunoda is an upgrade over Checo right now. Yuki, for context, Yuki Tsunoda, who drives for Racing Bulls RB, the junior team. Yuki is. Let's take a look here. Yuki Tsunoda is 12th in the Drivers' Championship. So he, I guess, is 4 spots back from Checo. But Yuki has 6 top 10s this year. Yuki's fine. I just don't know that he's an upgrade. I don't know if he's an improvement. And I think Max Verstappen is probably on the back 9 of his F1 career. I believe he's mentioned it before that that he is not close to, but he is not in it for the long haul. He's done a lot of racing. I mean, he's been racing since he was 17. I think he's been racing. Oh God, racing since he was I think it was 2016 was when he began. Although his contract with Red Bull extends until 2028, he has voiced skepticism about remaining in Formula One for that duration. Speaking of the matter, Verstappen revealed last year, "If I had to speculate and guess, I think he will run till the end of this formula, to the end of 2025." That was in a Sports Illustrated article at the end of September by Sejan Jogia. And I don't blame him because, as much as, as cool as it is being a Formula One driver, as cool as it is arguably being the best Formula One driver in the world, this team is not sustained for success after this year especially. He has a boss who I think is very egotistical and very narcissistic, and I don't know that he wants to stay in that environment. Max is kind of egotistical and, narcissistic in his own right. But I think he's young, and I think he understands that there is a world outside of racing. I think he is not in it with all the travel, with all the media obligations, with all that is required of being a superstar F1 driver. I don't know that Max Verstappen is in it for the long haul. I don't see him, as much as he would love to be the guy to dethrone Lewis Hamilton. I don't think anybody is dethroning Lewis Hamilton for a long time. I think a lot of those records and a lot of those titles, those aren't going to be taken away. Lewis Hamilton is the guy, and Verstappen, I'm sure he's got a lot of animosity. He's got a lot of feelings towards Lewis Hamilton. I'm sure he'd like to be the guy to beat Lewis Hamilton and have more records than he does and have more titles than he does. I don't think he loves to do that. I think he would like to. I don't think he would love to. I don't think he's in it for the long haul to do it. So I think this is the beginning of the end for Red Bull. I don't know what their backup plan is for Verstappen. I'm sure they would, sign somebody. I'm sure they would sign a free agent driver to race for them. And, it's not going to be the same because it's not Max Verstappen. It's not the young superstar hotshot that, you built your team around and you have, marketed to other companies, to other organizations. So we shall see. I'm predicting this is probably the end of the beginning was the Christian Horner allegations back in the offseason. On track, I would say it was probably the Miami Grand Prix. But I think now that we're seeing how poor their success, how poor they've been on track from the summer to now. The Brazilian Grand Prix is this weekend. I don't love their chances in Brazil. This is just not a good team. This is just not the team. They are a good team. This is just not a great team. They're not the excellent, cream of the crop team that they have been. And I think part of that as well, it's hard to sustain success. It is hard to sustain success, especially at that level, for an extended period of time. And there is nothing wrong with being, the drivers the constructors champion for 2 years straight, the drivers champion for 3 years, or maybe even 4 years straight. They're not out of it. It's not like, Red Bull is completely out of winning these titles. They're not. It's just when we're looking in 2025, 2026, especially when new regulations come in 2 years from now, this is not the team that we will know it as 2 years from now. And part of that is because of the management. Part of it is because of the on-track performance, and part of it is just how hard it is to sustain success. So, I guess it was fun while it lasted. Enjoy it while you can, Red Bull. I'm looking forward to seeing Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari next year. I'm looking forward to the Ferrari McLaren head-to-heads. And they talk about even like Ferrari is going to be better next year. They talk about McLaren being better next year. They talk about Mercedes not being on that level, but Mercedes being a little bit better. Like, everybody's getting better except Red Bull. So, what are you going to do? If you're Max Verstappen, you're still fairly young. You don't have to race forever. You made a lot of money racing. And, it was fun while it lasted. For Christian Horner, he's going to keep doing it, I think, until somebody tells him not to. And even then, I think he's just not going to, and he's not going to do what he's told. He's just going to keep doing what he's doing because he's Christian Horner. So, anyways, that's my Red Bull F1 talk. I appreciate you listening for almost 20 minutes of me just rambling on about F1. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about some hockey next, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. I'm going to discuss the Montreal Canadiens a little bit because I was watching their game against the Seattle Kraken, and oh boy, it was not good. The Canadiens lost 8-2 last night to the Seattle Kraken, and the Kraken are fine. The Kraken are okay. I don't, they were fairly okay, middle of the pack team. The Montreal Canadiens are exactly not that. Just to give you an idea, it was 8-2 last night. That was the final score. According to Money Puck's deserve to win o-meter. Where is it? It's still adjusting. It was about 50-50 was the deserve to win o-meter. Which you would think it's 8-2, like surely the Kraken dominated. And no, the Kraken did not dominate. Yeah, it was bad. The expected goals: Montreal 4.72, Seattle 4.59. So by expected goals in all situations, the Habs were expected to win. I guess by 2/10, but they were not expecting it to be 8-2. And the Montreal Canadiens have a real problem on their hands. They have several problems, but I think the biggest one, I mentioned this in our podcast with Scotty K the other day. This team can't play defense. This team can't play defense. They don't have any good defensemen. Now, I will say, their big thing this year was bringing in Lane Hutson and Logan Mailloux. Now, as I recorded this, Logan Mailloux has been sent down to the AHL, which is probably for the best because Logan Mailloux has been bad. And I don't want to get into the whole off-ice stuff. It's not good with Logan Mailloux. I know that's happened years ago, but still, I feel like, should be noted should be noted with Logan Mailloux. That's all I'll say. Logan Mailloux has played 82 minutes. Let's see if this will pull up here. Or maybe they sent him down, so maybe it won't show up. No, it won't show up on this map. All right, that's fine. This is really going smoothly. Basically, this team has okay gold. It does not have great goaltending. It's okay. It is not very solid. Sam Montembeault and Caden Primo are not the guys. They are not the dudes to fix this. This is a team, obviously, that's rebuilding. They are a team that has been doing the long rebuild since their Stanley Cup, finals in the bubble season, which fair enough. That was a completely different team, a lot of old guys, a lot of things have changed. So obviously, there's a long runway to improve and to get back there. Obviously, that was a bit of a fluke Stanley Cup run for the Montreal Canadiens, but it was still a run. Let's see here. Yeah, this. Okay. I just want to. Why isn't this working? Goals above expected this year for the Montreal Canadiens. Logan Mailloux has 0.6 goals above expected. But also, he has 4 giveaways this year. 7 blocks. I don't know. Lane Hutson has a 0.7 expected goals. Doesn't have any this season. He has 5 assists. Logan Mailloux has a 0.4 expected goals, which is 4th worst. He has a goal, 2 assists. Lane Hutson has played 231 minutes, which is the most of any Habs defender this year. Habs player, excuse me. He has the most. Lane Hutson has the most minutes of any Habs player this year. I don't know. His goals above expected is negative 0.7. Like, Lane Hutson has been given a lot of ice time, and he has been not great. Logan Mailloux has been given quite a few opportunities, and he's not been great. The goaltending has not been great. My point with the Montreal Canadiens is that their defense is not very good. Their goaltending is not very good. And I think for a lot of people who were expecting them to take a leap forward this year, maybe not be in the Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa. I don't know how many people thought they would be in that realm. But this team is not that. This team has pretty much been Cole Caulfield and everybody else. Cole Caulfield has 9 goals this season, which is up there. I think he's in the top 5 in league scoring. Basically, you would need, for all the goals that Cole Caulfield has scored this year, 9 goals. So Brendan Gallagher, Nick Suzuki, Kirby Dach, Slavkovsky, and Joel Armia have the same amount of goals combined. Gallagher, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Armia have the same amount of goals as Cole Caulfield. Suzuki at least has 11 points. He has 8 assists this year. Like, that's not nothing. Matheson's got 9 assists, no goals. Suzuki has 8 assists, 3 goals. Slavkovsky has 6 assists, 1 goal. Everybody's getting assists, but nobody's scoring. Nobody's getting goals except Cole Caulfield, which is a problem. That is a big problem. So they can't score, they can't defend, and they can't goaltend. How do you fix this? What do you do? I think the Habs are got to be finding a real goalie. Now, I understand that Montembeault and Primo are kind of good for this rebuilding. We're not trying to be good. We'd like to be good, but we're not trying to be playoff good. We're trying to get into the draft lottery again. They probably serve that purpose, so they're probably not going to fix that. The defense just leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. When you have Mike Matheson and David Savard being, your top guy, you have Justin Barron, who I think is okay. He has 1 point in 7 games. Caden Gooley is fine. He has 4 points in 5 games. Jaden Struble is fine. But it's like when you're leaning on, Arber Xhekaj, who's played 8 games this year and he has no points. He's a fringe NHL player and he's getting, he has more ice time than Barron or Gooley. I think that's a problem. And I wonder if it's a Martin St. Louis issue, who is the head coach. And this is another thing, too, of you have coaches who are meant for the rebuild. These are not the guys that you have when you're trying to be good, when you're trying to be competitive. It's the same thing I go to with the Golden State Warriors, where they had Mark Jackson as their head coach. He was fine. He was serviceable. He did the job. He did what he was supposed to do. Then they hire Steve Kerr, and they went from boom to boom overnight. That's probably what's going to happen with the Montreal Canadiens. This team is probably fine. This team is probably going to be okay in the long run. It's just this season's not going very good so far. This team is not, taking that next step that people thought they should. And I think it's just because their goaltending's not that good, not as good as we think it is. Their defense has not been good. I don't know that their defense has been used properly. When Blaine Hudson is getting the most minutes, he is Lane Hudson is one of two guys with over 200 minutes so far this season. That's a bit concerning. I know people like Lane Hudson. I don't think he's anything special. I think he's still a long time. Like that's a lot to put on a kid, is to just throw him into the fire right away. So, and in the forward group, nobody can really score outside of Cole Caulfield. I like Suzuki. I think Suzuki's a franchise guy. It's not like you're going to move on from him. I didn't love the Slavkovsky contract, but people are telling me that it's, for the future, for down the road. That, I guess, makes sense, sure. I caution stress and patience when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens, because this is not a good team. They're not going to be a good team. I don't know that they're going to make any trades to improve the team, to make the team, better this year. There's not really a point to being better this year. Maybe they'll go make some moves in the offseason to go get some guys who will help them. They'll go find a goalie. The issue I have with the goalie, or in my opinion, the goaltending situation in the league, is that the demand is there for top goaltending. There's not the supply. It's why the Leafs are going with Anthony Stolarz. It's why, who's been well. He's played well, but he's not a household name. And same goes with Alex Lyon for the Detroit Red Wings. He's been serviceable. He's been fine, but he's not a household name. And, we don't have those same household names, for goalies that we might have in the past. And I don't know how Montreal figures it out, gets there. Right now they have, according to Puckpedia, $6.5 million in current cap space. They have a projected negative $3 million in cap space this year. They still have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 3 third-round picks. Like, they're not trying to be good. There's, they got Patrick Laine on LTIR. Raphael Harvey Pinard is on LTIR. Not that he's going to be a huge difference maker. Gooley's on LTIR. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is outside of just this is a rebuilding team. They're not good, but we can stop pretending they're good. They can be chaotic, which can be fun to watch, but there's a difference between, chaotic for the sake of just being a rebuilding team and just trying to be entertaining to watch to being chaotic because, they're trying to be good, they're trying to take the next step, and they're not really there. So those are my 2 cents on the Montreal Canadiens. They stink, they're no good, and they have Cole Caulfield, who's really fun to watch, he's really exciting. They shouldn't be playing Lane Hudson as much. They should be leaning on guys like Matheson, who I know he's not 100% David Savard. Lean on your veterans, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And, Montembeault is doing great, obviously, for what it is, but he's not good. He's not a starting. He's not who I think is a franchise goalie. Neither is Kane Primo. I think these are guys you're happy to have in the rebuild, but they're not going to be your long-term options. So, and I don't know that Marty St. Louis is your long-term head coach either. Like, I think he's probably got more out of Caulfield than other coaches would, but the defense has been terrible. Some of the decisions have been questionable, and, when the time comes when they're going to be good, then they'll figure out a guy. Then they'll figure out a coach. There you go. So, we'll be right back. I got one more segment I'm going to do here, but we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, final segment here on the SYP pod for this episode. Game 5 tonight of the World Series. The LA Dodgers take on the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Yankees won last night. I gotta say, those 2 fans, I don't know if you guys saw, the 2 fans who were reaching into Mookie Betts' glove to try and get the ball out. One guy's like grabbing his arm, the other guy's grabbing his glove. Those guys can eat shit. I'll be honest. Like, those guys got banned. They're not coming to Game 5 tonight. Their tickets have been refunded, which is also bullshit. But there is no reason for you ever to make contact or to just grab a professional athlete when they're on the field. That is so unacceptable. That's so not cool. It's one thing if you're like in the crowd and they're like going through the tunnel and you're getting high five. That's one thing. It's another thing when you are literally grabbing said athlete and trying to get a ball out of his glove and just interfering with the play. Grabbing, making contact with somebody that you shouldn't be. Like, you are a fan. You are a paid attendee. You should not be getting involved whatsoever. There is no reason for you to. So, to see this guy, like, somebody at ESPN, I think, was doing a whole story about, I don't even know what his fucking name is, who gives a shit. But those 2 guys can fuck off. And in the real world, those guys would have been booed and shunned and, cursed at. Instead, they were giving him a big cheer and, everybody was clapping while they were walking up the stairs by security. Like, fuck off, all right? What happened to the real world where you get stoned for something like that? That's bullshit. Somebody should be throwing rocks at you, not cheering for you. My other issue is the fact that these fans have been banned from Game 5, rightfully so, but their tickets got refunded. You don't give those people a refund. Fuck them. They're fucking doing shit they shouldn't be doing. You don't reward that. You don't reimburse them for that. There's a reason you're taking their tickets away. There's a reason they're not coming to Game 5. But hey, let's give them their $10,000 or whatever the fuck that they spent on those tickets. Fuck off. Give me a break. Okay? Send a message. Send a lesson. Let them be an example for future games, for future fans. Don't reward that behavior. Oh, but they're not going to Game 5. I don't give a shit. They shouldn't be going to Game 5. They shouldn't be getting their tickets refunded. They did something stupid. Like, fuck off. Like, am I going crazy? I feel like I'm going crazy sometimes with all this. Yeah, I just want to rant about those two guys at Yankee Stadium who were just dickheads, who were dumb and stupid and did shit they shouldn't be doing. And not that they're getting reimbursed, which they shouldn't be. They're not. That's stupid. Fuck the Yankees. I got the Dodgers winning Game 5. I think there's bad juju, bad karma with the Yankees for that. Even though they won last night, they finally showed up. It took them 4 games, but they finally showed up. We'll see how Game 5 goes tonight at Yankee Stadium. If the Yankees win tonight, travel day. Game 6 is Friday, and then I think Game 7 Saturday. So we'll see how that goes. This has kind of been a bad good series, a boring good series. Game 1 was exciting. Game 1 was cool. Shout out Freddie Freeman. That guy's been electric. He's had a home run every fucking game. Shohei's not 100%. He's battling some stuff, but that's what you do in the playoffs. You battle. You compete. You go hard. I think the Dodgers are winning. I don't see the Yankees coming back. I don't think they have the mojo. I don't think they have the talent in comparison to the Dodgers. But hey, who knows? I could be wrong. We'll see. Go Dodgers. Hope they can get it done tonight, Wednesday. That's the podcast. Thank you very much for listening. Greatly appreciated. We'll be back on Friday. New episode Friday. Basically, we have content every day. Today, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be a football article on my Substack. Go look at that. Friday's going to be another pod day. Saturday's going to be a hockey article on my Substack. So basically, we got content for like the next 4 days. So, enjoy. And it's all free. You get to go read some free content and listen to some free pods. What's wrong with that? Thank you very much for listening. Greatly appreciated. You can check us out Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Check out my Substack it's basically the link below on like the Apple, Spotify. Ow, hit my hand. Apple, Spotify, link below. There's like a link you can read the Substack. Please subscribe. It's free. It's literally free content. I hope you enjoy. Thank you again for listening. It's greatly appreciated. We'll be back again on Friday. So, enjoy your Halloween if you're doing that, if you're into that. And yeah, we'll be back for November 1st. So, peace out. Adios.